All right, John, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about Charleston, South Carolina, and why it's an investment market you're so excited about it?
Yeah, and we'll start kind of a little bit more generic, Andrew. We're going to talk about this more on part three of our webinar series, where why we look at a location, right? Why a location is so important, and right after the sponsor, and very close to that sponsor level review, which will be part two of our webinar series. After you kind of do the due diligence on the sponsors, really focusing on that location. And the reason why we like Charleston is for a few reasons. We love the Southeast. That's our backyard. You know, that's where we typically want to invest, and we have been investing with our investments in the business and what we do personally. Charleston just really meets all of the kind of the sub areas of what we're looking at, or focus areas we look at when we look at a market or a location. You know, population. Charleston year over year, population continues to grow. You've got a lot of people in the Northeast that are moving south. You got a lot of people that are moving into that Carolina, Charleston market. Northeast is great. I'm from New York originally, but crime issues up there, high taxes, cold weather. People like warm weather, Charleston check. People like low crime, Charleston check. And then there's not a lot of supply down there, so the demand is extremely high, and not a lot of supply right now. Rent rates year over year is 8.8% growth, which is amazing. Now that'll stabilize, but even if you were to look like we do at a standard deal, you want to see about 3% rent growth. So even with it stabilizing, you're still going to have year over year to be in that 5-6% range, which is fantastic. You always want to look at things like amenities, attractions, job market. There's a lot of things happening. You've got Boeing down there, headquarters. You got Walmart down there. You've got a lot of different headquarters that are down there. Not to mention that Redwood Materials is opening up a multi-billion-dollar factory in Charleston, minimum $3.5 billion factory. One of the principals who owns the company is actually a former Tesla principal, and they're going to be putting a significant amount of money into that market to design and to build the lithium batteries, the electronic batteries that support electric vehicles, which we know which that the direction we're moving to. So to have that investment in that market with that amount of capital and that size of a plant is going to create significant jobs. You also have the Charleston port, one of the top three ports in the country down in Charleston. So my business partner, his daughter works there as a supply chain logistician, and the growth there is just amazing. So downtown really is kind of the gem, because that's where the college is, the College of Charleston. King Street down there is very similar to a very predominantly popular, eclectic downtown type market for young people, people that want to shop, people that want to go to restaurants, they want to have a nice nightlife and great weather. So you got the best of everything there, and not to mention you got the beach, 30 minutes away, if that. So you've got so much going on in that market. The real risk of the market, there was a pretty bad Hurricane Hugo, about 30, 35 years ago, that really did a lot of damage. And they had a bad flood in the area maybe about 10 years ago. But, it's always going to be impacted by weather. But the nice part is, if you look at the map, it's kind of cut in from the coast. So it doesn't get that full brunt of the hurricane that markets like Savannah would get, or more of the land mass that goes out into the Atlantic. So that's another reason why it's a little safer than any of the other coastal type cities. But it's a fantastic market. We've got two projects, one that's actually executing right now in Charleston, and then we're in the process of closing on another fantastic project, which will be mixed use retail with some residential apartment and retail space. And we're looking at more down there, just because we feel that it's a very recession resilient market. A lot of people there. Our first project is 21 condominiums. We've got 17 of 21 already pre-sold. We haven't even put a shovel on the ground yet. And these condos are priced anywhere from 1.8 to 4.8 million dollars. So to have that in place for a 2-year project on a new construction, which we got back to in our last segment on development and new construction projects, it just makes total sense in the world. Banks are falling head over heel to fund those projects because of the fact that the risk is so much lower. So we feel Charleston's going to be a good market for the next, let's say 10 to 15 years, and we hope to make that probably a second or third headquarter after our Washington D.C. metro market and Atlanta Midtown market.
I really appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Yeah,
Everyone,
my pleasure.
just remember we got a really exciting multi-part educational series coming up March 1st, and we'll get you more info on that as we get closer to March 1st, guys. Thanks so much, John.
Thanks, Andrew.